Hello there, and welcome to After Sessions through some loose contents of content that's come up in the Sunday sessions. And the main subjects during the Sunday sessions are tree lore, ogham, waterlore, the sidhe, the fae, bardic lore, and poetry. Technical issue there. And the core of all this is helping you and some ideas for creating and using your own and shared tree and garden sanctuaries and labyrinths, which I think a lot of you during the lockdown have been doing work on, from what I gather. So here in the after sessions, which are on 8 o'clock every Monday, I invite you to join either by asking to join me here live and we can have a shared video screen, or you can send me a pre-recorded video of up to 5 minutes long, or just simply text me just throwing comments in the usual way. Put the comments down in the comment box and we'll get back up to that very shortly. So what have we learned? Nobody sent any questions this week, so I'm coming up with a couple of things that have been in debates in at the moment, because it looks like the whole of Ireland is going to be pretty much released next Monday. So what have we learned from this lockdown? Have we found some sanctuary and calm in our home gardens? Have we created a sanctuary in our home gardens? And if you do not have a garden, have you created a sanctuary elsewhere, such as your allotment, or getting hold of an allotment, or found a little local woodland? And that brings me to another point, and some people have talked about this. What have you discovered within the 5 kilometers or 3 miles of your home that you didn't know was there, and by visiting has actually brought you some peace and calm? This is where I try and bring up some of the trickery. There's some trickery. I'm still learning the buttons on this, which is absolutely exciting when I actually get used to it. But these places of calm that people have gone to, they've written about it. People have been writing poems. They've been painting, making sculptures and crafts from their inspirations, and written poems and songs, for example, and soon you'll be able to share those. Now, did those new connections with your surroundings cause you to forget about the consumables that you might have gone shopping for and browsed around? Although Gather Pennies has been quite busy. Places like fashion shops, hairdressers. Well, I know there's a lot of people who can't wait to get to the hairdressers and the barbers. But I think there's been less calling for takeouts. Would you agree with that? Now, what do you think after this lockdown that we've had? Have you thought about what you might miss once the lockdown is over? Would you miss having times to do things that you always said that you would do, but you never have done, but in the last 2 or 3 months, you have done? You've been catching up with all kinds of ideas that you've been longing to do. I know I have. So have you. And write something in the comments about that. It'd be worth. Or actually find at the end of the lockdown, you actually miss this time that you've missed due to chasing after conspiracy theories and who to blame for the lockdown. And I had some lovely cartoons for that I was going to pop up, but they haven't come to me in the stream. So we'll pass by that one. Of course, there is a bit of a darker realm to all of this about, and I hope yourself and your loved ones, none of you actually caught this virus, or you don't know anybody that's passed on by it. So my condolences if you if you have. And I hope that none of you were contained in a sort of an abuse situation with people you lived with or you were forced to live with. So if tragedy and harm did not strike you, and I hope it didn't strike you, blissful opportunity this time has been. Would you agree with it? I know I've loved it. You know, the hardest part I found was no hugs, and I'm actually a little disappointed at the moment because I had some lovely hug pictures to explain that one, but they haven't fed through on the screen. Maybe I'll use them another time. But so put in your comments what will you think now the lockdown's about over? What will you continue? What will you now do to keep that peace and tranquility flowing that you may have discovered, especially outside, because you have some glorious weather during that lockdown? Do you think you can maintain and sustain any sanctuary that you created for yourself, or visit little sanctuaries that you discovered for yourself as you went round the area? Think about and feel about these cars back on the road, and all these chain corporate shops opening, Pennies and the rest of them, Duns, I suppose. And I think some of you have actually tried some of these places, and you find you're enjoying the crowds and joining up in the queues and the battle who's social distance. One big question is, are you living more environmentally friendly now? And are you going to continue these new habits? Did you learn to relax more and keep that stress down? And are you aware now of how you're going to continue that? And will you be able to say no to more of the distractions and the luring towards commitments that you found were stealing your life, stealing your voice, and suddenly you were kind of lost in the servitude to others? And I don't regard that as being selfish when you are using your voice, because what you end up doing, you're actually serving and sharing what's actually coming from your heart, rather than being enslaved into being a kind of, what would the word be, zombie, just being pulled with the strings, just bowing to what everybody's telling you what to do. Some people will say that's what the lockdown was about. But to me, yes, we were sort of told to stay at home, be in lockdown. But all those discoveries, that's the beauty I found. So all those discoveries we might not have found or might have not have contemplated or paid attention to as much. So, do you feel more connected to your experiences? Do they make you feel more out in the fresh air? Let me have a look at your comments, see what you've said so far on that. No comments. Do comment on that one, either now or when you're watching the playback later. I'd appreciate your words on that one. How are you in lockdown, and how many of those habits are you actually going to forth to your life now that you're transformed, just keeping the whole thing going? I seem to have lost my spotlight. Oh, too much spotlight now. Okay, we'll keep it with the evening light now. So, since there's no conversation going on here at the moment, I better move on to another question here. On the Sunday, the solstice traditions, and I was coming up with a few things that people might not have thought of. Connecting nature and the things going on in nature that we actually might not have noticed, but during this lockdown, of course, we would have noticed more. And that was quite a conversation going on there. So please fire away your questions, tell me where you're from, and from you and answer you. And if you make a comment and contribution later on, I'll certainly make a response. because this is archived and it goes on for a while. So the one thing, and there's been a conversation, especially today, and it's an ongoing conversation over the last few years, is how can people now be encouraged to support and shop local? I know for myself, being locked down, leaving here, and I was relying on deliveries, and deliveries were from local shops, local supermarket, Super Value, but the local courtyard market, I was getting deliveries from there, and there were hardware. There was various people that were willing to deliver to people's homes, local people, local traders, as a way to try and keep themselves in business and for people not to forget about them. The farmers market, the courtyard market in Boyle, has opened up in the last couple of weeks, or 3 weeks, I think, and it's become really busy because before the lockdown it was a dwindling market. There was hardly anybody turning up. Stands and stores were leaving. They couldn't make any money. They probably couldn't pay their rent. Now you go to the stands there and it's just long lines that go out of the market almost to the Garda station that's outside. So they're much better supported at the moment, but is that going to continue? One thing that's popular, and I think it's sort of drifted in as a sort of tradition after the lockdown because the market couldn't open to people. So there were deliveries, and the deliveries were in boxes. And they're continuing that, the takeaway boxes that people can go to the market and collect. And I must admit, when I was there last Saturday and saw the great long lines, especially, and I'm still a little bit fragile from the problems I had last Christmas. Oh, thank goodness, I've got a box. And that was another industry that before the lockdown was fading away, the idea of, I think what they call them, the box deliveries. They had a term for them. Was it box sets, or that's television, isn't it? Box plans, something like that. Box kit. People weren't ordering, and just faded away. But now everybody wants them. The takeaway boxes are still very popular in the market, and I suppose people are pleased with them when they see the lines there. It's fabulous to see the local market because that means that's local economy. That's the money we spend is actually going direct to the people in the area, and it's distributing a lot less money. The one thing doing through lockdown, because of the convenience of deliveries, the one corporate company that did very well, of course, was Amazon. And something like Amazon does take our money away from the economy and sends it all over the place. And after the USA, Benzo, isn't it? I was thinking of Garbenzo for some reason. And if we got some of these things that we get from Amazon, if we went to local traders, the unfortunate thing is if it's not food or vegetables or things that we need just for our own survival, the local traders themselves would probably order from overseas, stock them in, and then charge a markup. So markup, and we'll sales like through Amazon or eBay. So how do we get around that one? But the one thing that is working, and it is shown by the farmers market, is the way that we're now supporting that concept of farm to fork. And that's a very good start, don't you think so? Please, in your comments, show your support, ideas and feelings about that. And the farm very well because Ireland grows a lot of things. They rear a lot of animals. A lot of the food that we can eat, we can actually buy Irish. People before the lockdown, they were kind of reluctant to buy a lot of the Irish because they were looking at price. And I think today some people are considering price above quality of food. But that can be a false assumption. And I think one of the reasons the farmers markets are doing extremely well all of a sudden is people have discovered that taste. That's one of the things in lockdown people have done. They've started learning how to cook food, prepare food, and indulge themselves in food in a way like they've never done before. Before, a lot of these people might have gone to a drive-in takeout, grabbed the food, then grabbed it with their hands and munch, munch, munch while they're driving. They don't even know what they're eating and tasting. They just think, it's something, it's mealtime, let's fill ourselves up. Now, in lockdown, food has become an experience, both in the gathering, the preparation, all the senses in choosing stuff and preparing, and then the delight that stuff is successful, it looks good, I can cook. And then when you actually taste it, especially if you've got local organic vegetables, wow, why haven't I been buying this stuff? So, going on, where people are valuing taste above price. As I say, because people have learned to cook again. And the one thing I bet that's happening is people are not throwing away as much food as they used to do. And that's going to keep your budget down. If you're not throwing half the food away because it's like cardboard, you're actually spending a little bit more, but you're eating it all. That's going to be quite cheap junk food. But like our gardens and our local sanctuaries that we've discovered, people are discovering what is around them locally in food and really enjoying that. It's a wonderful thing. And another area that's done very well, and they had to close down even their online ordering during the lockdown, is the garden shops. I'm going back. I should have been... Yeah, there's the boxes we've been picking up from the farmer's market. And what have we got here? No, I'm coming to that. Here's the lines at the farmer's market that I was talking about. This is the fruit and vegetable stand. Even the honeyman is trying to get something. And that's that was down at all. So that's really good to see. I'm coming to that, the picnics. But let's go as far as the garden places go, because one thing, grow your own, and especially if you get the children involved, children to plant their own fruit and vegetables, certainly more likely to have changed. And if their habits have changed and they want organic, fresh vegetables and fruit, of course, mummy and daddy's got to continue eating them. There's no getting around with that, is there? And there's one thing I think people are discovering when you actually get stuff locally and buy stuff, customer service. And it's beyond service, because the people you're buying from, if you get back to them for some reason, something is wrong, something is broken down, they look after you. Not only do they look after you, they actually recognize your name and they'll be able to talk to you. And is there any call center support, either in Dublin or over in Delhi, that can do that for you? That's an amazing link, and the old and support. And I think that's worth a little more. And the click and collect, one of the things I've discovered, like in the situation is in, it actually is not only there for impatient people who don't want to line up, as I showed the lines there, but it's great for the disabled and housebound who can't actually stand in those lines. Wonderful. And down, it's not just habits to shop local. The traders themselves have had to learn how to actually serve the local people and attract them. They can't carry on with there's no call for it around here, lazy excuse. It just doesn't cut anymore if they want to stay in business and attract the local people. And I think people have been cutting that out. Traders are going head over heels to actually try and help the people more. And one of our attitudes, I think, that's improved is we're not so exacting in what we want to buy. We don't. We're not holding on to exact desires and ordering stuff thousands of miles away because it's exclusive. What we're doing, we're making do with what's around us and being creative with that in order to survive. And we're finding we're very happy with that. We're not needing the local fashions. We're not needing a gadget that's just been released by some corporate. We just want to enjoy what's around us. And one of the things, and I've already come up with the pictures ahead of that, is because we haven't been able to socialize in mass, we haven't been able to go to festivals, we haven't been able to go to mass with the other people on the beaches and in the parks. So people have been enjoying picnics in their gardens. I haven't got any picnics in the gardens, but I got a picture of a picnic. This is up at Carrickeel, a bit of a picnic, and this was another bunch of picnickers. Obviously, this was before we needed the social distancing. But we can, if we're not picnicking in the gardens, we could go off to this little secret sanctuaries that we found in our neighborhood. And now, of course, so that's my second one. Are you actually, as well as enjoying the calm, my second question this evening is, how have you adapted to shopping local, supplying yourself local, and actually adopting to your garden more, to grow more local, and to actually utilize what's local around you and still enjoy putting pictures that didn't fly in here? I think I got a tent picture now. I did see something of a tent picture somewhere that I was pulling up. I saw it in the stream. No, it hasn't arrived yet. I could throw it up, I suppose, to give you the idea of something that you might be doing. So how, while I sort of hunt and peck for this, do think about it, do some comments, and I'll look in the comments now or later, if you're watching this later, where you actually mention, describe, discuss, and ask questions about how you have relaxed during lockdown and how you're going to continue with those new habits, and how you are supporting local trade and keeping the community alive around you. So photos that I was going to show you didn't come through on the stream, so I'm going to try and force them through now. And I wonder if you had something like this. Now, there we go. Now, my hug ones haven't come through yet. No, the tent has. There is one that, oh yeah, there's tent. There we go. Have you been doing this? Is this the sort of thing you've been passing the time with the family? And have you spent more time in that than actually in your home? Now, there's one thing, a picture to resemble, that I think's been a lovely thing at this time, is actually going into your sanctuary with a pot of tea, with a neighbour that you agree on the social distancing. Is that something you've been doing? Anyway, that's my ramble around the two questions about, are you going to continue the calm and the slower pace of the lockdown? And the second one, are you going to are you going to continue to support the local trading, the local markets, quality to fork, local crafts, local made clothes maybe, and local accessories, and enjoy the whole community and connection of all that. So please put that down in comments. That's as much as I think I can go through. I'll just check the comments, see if you're all very quiet. Oh, there's Jeannie Lindsay. Hi. Hoping for more sunshine in northwest Donegal. Yeah, you got it rough today. Oh, hi, Joan. Lovely to see you. Should have had pictures of your garden. Joanne has been a miracle worker through this. She's an organics garden up in Donegal, and I think she's a. I don't know if hero is not exactly the right word, but mentor certainly is. Just the way that she just gets out and does it, and she's one of these people that seems to throw a the sort of garden comes together, the support when there is. But she's been using this time to do fantastic online courses and to help people get through the different stages of starting their new garden or improving the garden they got. And I love watching Joanne's streams because there's always an extra tip there. Oh, why am I not doing that? Oh, I used to do that. Why? I think I'll start. Fantastic in a little small area, all this stuff, and you think, how on earth is she doing this herself? She hasn't got her organic things. And then every now and again you see these two little children wandering about. That's the secret. That's how the garden's getting done. So she's looking for more sunshine because it's probably been a rough day there today, but at the same time she's got time to put the tent up. Thanks for watching, Joanne. Great comments. Is there I thank you for. Anyway, I think that's it for the after sessions this time, that ramble. Next Sunday, please participate. Actually, I've had a couple of people already come forward for this. It's going to be creating poetry, because I was mentioning out in your little garden sanctuaries, because this is the thing. I mentioned Joanne. She's out there creating food for herself, the community, family. And I know she has little woodland sanctuaries. She doesn't feature that so much because her niche is the organic growing and the permaculture. But hopefully you do have this, part of your garden is your sanctuary, that place where you can share a cup of tea, like I mentioned. And in that sanctuary, it's where you allow your voice to come through. You got the inspirations. And in some of these Sunday sessions, I'm talking about you're one with the she and the fairies in there and the flow of everything. The birds, you listen, sound, different sounds in the winds, all these things. Does poetry come out? Are you writing songs? Please share them with me. Can we share these on Creating Poetry next Sunday at 2 o'clock? And you can either ask if you can actually share the poetry, and it would be lovely to actually have your voice and your facial expressions to actually your actual poetry. You can send in a video. Someone said to me, maybe people are shy about bringing themselves on the split screen. Or do a lovely little video of your landscape, of your sanctuary, you behind the camera, and an overdub of your poem. We can. So either way, please think about that and support next Sunday, 2 o'clock, Creating Poetry, and the week more into countries, but the vital thing is next Sunday. So thanks those who've been watching and those who are going to be watching here on Facebook, on YouTube, and I look forward to answer some comments later as you post them. So I did have that's one thing that's missing. Maybe I'll have it next time. I had a lovely exit video and that hasn't come into the stream yet. So just instead, I wave you bye-bye and wish you a healthy, happy, calm, stress-free, local surviving week. And I'll see you soon, either Sunday or Monday. Bye.